BayWEB, the Bay Area Wireless Enhanced Broadband System, is a comprehensive and complex project funded through both the federal government and the private sector. This innovative public-private cooperative agreement will result in the construction and operation of not one, but two autonomous and unique next-generation wireless broadband systems, one dedicated to public access users and one dedicated to the Bay Area's public safety community. The public-private cooperative agreement was established by means of a competitive process, which resulted in a relationship between Motorola as the private partner and the Region 2 Mutual Aid Coordinator, Alameda County Sheriff Gregory Ahern, on behalf of the San Francisco Bay Area region. The cost to build BayWEB is $72.4 million, $21.92 million of which has been committed by Motorola, with the remainder coming from a $50.5 million Broadband Technology Opportunities Program, or BTOP federal grant. This and all BTOP grants are administered through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act.
To ensure success and fulfill the local investment and local expenditures aspects of the federal grant requirements, Motorola is already reaching out to many partners to fulfill its contractual obligations. In doing so, Motorola estimates the creation of over 1,300 jobs. These jobs will consist of direct jobs at Motorola, as well as jobs created through the use of subcontractors, many of which will be local companies within the Bay Area. Additionally, Motorola fully anticipates inducing jobs through this program, since a tremendous amount of money will be spent within local economies on travel, lodging, food, and other required amenities during the 3-year build-out. Many local industries in the Bay Area will benefit quickly from the spending associated with this program. The public-private cooperative agreement is the key to the ongoing success of BayWEB, as it clearly defines each party's critical roles. On the public safety side, the agreement commits that, if funded, public safety agencies would subscribe to and use the network once it was built. Also, approximately 193 installation-ready sites and, where available, backhaul transport would be provided for the deployment. Finally, the region would provide its licensed spectrum for the operation of the public safety network. Motorola's private sector commitments are, first and foremost, to act as the grantee and to provide the required matching contribution. Beyond the grant match, Motorola's commitment is to build, own, operate, and maintain both networks in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth by the NTIA.
Working hand in hand, the parties of the public-private cooperative agreement will transform the capabilities of the region through the creation of two unique broadband networks in the San Francisco Bay Area. BayWEB will consist of one network that will provide wireless broadband for public access and a second network that will be the nation's first private 700 MHz network dedicated solely to providing fourth-generation wireless broadband to the Bay Area's public safety community. Building these two unique networks across the Bay Area will not come without challenges, and the timeline in which this program must be completed is one of the greatest. With the federal grant came a 3-year deployment window, with most of the work and spending having to be completed by the end of the second year. Because all of the approximately 193 sites are expected to be identical for the two systems and will be provided to Motorola ready for installation by the individual cities or counties that own or lease those sites, Motorola will work through the executive sponsor to determine which regions have the most installation-ready sites available first. It will be this factor, the installation readiness factor, combined with the number of devices a particular region is prepared to load on the public safety LTE network, that will determine what regions Motorola deploys first, as well as what regions get prioritized thereafter.
Both networks, the public access point-to-multipoint network operating on the unlicensed 5 GHz spectrum and the fourth-generation public safety LTE broadband network, will serve the 10-county San Francisco Bay Area, which spans more than 7,300 square miles and covers a population of approximately 7 million people in more than 100 cities and towns. BayWEB's public access network was specifically designed to fulfill the requirements of BTOP and gave the region its greatest opportunity for federal grant funding. It had its intended result. The public access network will provide the opportunity for new or substantially upgraded broadband service to over 28,000 community anchor institutions, such as public libraries, education centers, community colleges, and hospitals. In addition, the public access network will bolster growth in economically distressed areas and through business partnerships with new and existing internet service providers, enabling affordable broadband service in unserved and underserved areas.
It is also likely that some local governmental entities will become end users of the public access network, reducing their costs by purchasing a more affordable general government internet service agreement from a local wireless internet service provider, or WISP. It is these existing or newly established WISPs that Motorola will rely on to sell the last mile or end user service off the public access network. That, however, is not the only opportunity for local governments to participate within the public access structure. It is quite possible that cities or counties may choose to pursue a more active revenue-generating role. A city or county may itself choose to become a WISP, or through partnership take on some form of that role with an already existing local service provider. Additionally, the regional public safety governing body may decide it is in their best interest to enter into a contractual relationship directly with Motorola and become a wholesaler on the public access network and operate in that environment.
Perhaps the most compelling feature of BayWEB is the creation of the nation's first private LTE fourth-generation wireless broadband network for public safety agencies across the Bay Area. LTE stands for long-term evolution, and it is by far the fastest, most robust generation of cellular network technology. With the BayWEB private LTE network, first responders can have prompt access to critical databases and information when they need it. For example, some first responders still rely on 19.2 kilobit per second earlier generation data systems or second or third generation public carrier networks. The LTE fourth generation system will give Bay Area first responders average download speeds of up to 6,000 kilobits or 6 megabits per second and upload speeds of up to 2 megabits per second.
We want to spend a moment talking about the practical, everyday benefits for the LTE public safety network user. Slow downloads and network-busy messages on in-vehicle and handheld computers and other 3G devices that first responders rely upon today will become much less of an issue. No longer will public safety professionals compete with citizens for bandwidth to complete mission-critical tasks. No longer will the Oakland SWAT team be concerned about receiving an all signals are busy message when responding to an incident just because the Raiders game ended and everyone is attempting to send a video clip of the winning touchdown they just captured on their cell phone. With the speed of the LTE system, response teams on the ground can watch a live video stream of a crime scene from police helicopter cameras overhead and receive important data such as building blueprints, while they also send live video from their perspective on the ground to an incident command center, resulting in a much more informed and effective coordinated response. In addition, by using the private network, public safety officials can set up their own communication policies, such as establishing when certain devices or individuals should receive communication prioritization. For example, a tactical unit commanding officer arriving at an incident scene could instantly receive the highest network access priority, while non-mission critical use of the network would be preempted. In short, this private network dedicated to public safety will enable needed information to be available within an instant of being requested.
How will the public safety community use their 4G LTE network? Much like city and county agencies utilize 3G networks owned by major national carriers today, using the BayWEB network will be similar but better. The main difference to cities and counties is that their public safety users will not compete on a shared network basis with non-public safety users. Secondly, because the Public Safety Network is funded with BTOP grant funds and Motorola's matching contribution, and because the cities and counties will provide the BayWEB project with access to approximately 193 installation-ready sites, their user costs will be lower as compared to a public carrier system. A public safety agency will provide a point of presence. This means that public safety users will have the ability to access their agency-specific applications. Also, public safety users will subscribe to service on the network by signing an eligible user agreement. This agreement will be a commitment to subscribe to and use the network for a 10-year period. In return, unlike the major national carriers, Motorola will keep the same low base user fee for the entire 10-year period. No longer will public safety agencies need to concern themselves with what the cost of broadband service will be when their 2-year contract is up. The base user fee will be static for the entire 10-year period. Finally, users will select and purchase the devices they need. Motorola will have a complete portfolio of devices for sale capable of working on the LTE network. But because the public safety LTE network will be based upon 3GPP standards technology, Motorola expects other manufacturers will also offer devices for sale that will work on the network.
The benefits of BayWEB have been eagerly anticipated for some time. For local cities and towns, the point-to-multipoint public access network will provide more affordable and predictable wireless broadband access for the many community anchor institutions in the coverage area, the schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, and others. BayWEB will make their studies, research, and everyday communications more affordable and more reliable. And most importantly, Bay Area public safety agencies and the thousands of professionals who work for them will finally have dedicated, fast, reliable wireless data access, unaffected by commercial carrier networks' traffic or carriers' rising costs year over year. And with the ability to almost instantly enhance an incident response through multi-agency interoperability, supported by both the BayWEB 4G LTE network and their existing P25 systems, public safety professionals will have an important new tool at their disposal when they need it most.